Uh, Welcome to Real People. This is Stephanie Allensworth, and I'm here with my good friend David Bear again, here to lift up the spirits of the collective consciousness, and we're going to shine a bright light on the world today. How's that sound?
Perfect. Thank you. And thank you for having me here again. And I really appreciate it and love and feel honored to be here. Thank you, everyone, for showing up and listening in. And we appreciate you. Thank you.
Well, I love having you here because you have so much positive energy and so much good, loving, peaceful energy to share. And with that, I'm going to start with what we kind of talked about on the phone before, a couple days ago, where the energy right now in the world is one of, it's fear-based, and there's so much negative talk and uncertainty. And I wanted to ask your muse how our celestial beings here trapped in a human environment, how should we be reacting to what's going on in the world right now? What can we do best to bring peace to ourselves and to those around us?
Beautiful question. And thank you. We're at a very interesting time. And for those of you out there that understand that we're moving from a 3D dimensional energy field to a 4 frequency energy field, which is the bridge to get to 5D, that all of these things that are happening at this moment, all of the terror, the pain, the suffering, the grief, the exacerbation of every kind of horror on the planet, perhaps more now than it's ever been on the planet. It's so acute. The people that have been in the process of developing spiritually for quite some time, let's say 2012, for many it was the beginning, but for all of those people that are in the process, they understand that this is a transformation of a major epoch at this given time. So all of the shadowy influences, the darkness, the negative, the less than favorable, evil, or whatever you want to call it. And evil is energy veil, it's the lack of light. So all of those things that have been in our system, in our culture, in our governments, in our material world, that have that flavor of density and negativity are causing a great deal of angst. It's palpable. And even people on the spiritual path are tired and weary and frustrated and get depressed and down, and because it's so intense right now. What do? Realize that it is in transition, and that is currently on the way out. We've talked about it somewhat before, but I believe it'll be removed or neutralized, if you will, back into the native nothingness from which it originally came. So the stewards, or that's not the stewards, but those that have been in charge of this planet from a controlling place for tens of thousands of years, the ones who know that the people that have come here, and we've all spirits that have come to this bodysuit and this embodiment, have come from many lifetimes on many different planets, universes, and we have an understanding of our divine nature. We did, until we came here to help those that are needing that additional help to pull out of this 3D. So we came here as a plan and a purpose and a contract, if you will, to be able to help all those people that didn't understand that. So the pain and the suffering, which is real for everybody, we all experience it. How do we handle it is your question? By seeing it as a temporary experience. That provides for us individually and as a collective the opportunity to see it as a working lesson in process. So the lesson is, how do we take this individual currency of this day? Let's say the fear energy is about, oh my God, they're talking about Third World War. Okay, so that's a real thing, and a lot of people that go into that and go, oh my God, that's real. And by the looks of things, if you tune into that and you are bathing yourself in that frequency on a daily level, that can be a real issue. However, I don't believe that. I personally don't believe that's going to happen, and yet it's a real fear for a lot of people. So when we take a look at that fear, I see it as an invitation to go, we're temporal beings on this earth, but we're permanent in that we're eternal. So you can't kill the spirit. We could leave via all kinds of different ways, but in the reality of it all, we are eternal, so we're not going to die. And if you hold on to that belief and realize that you're just exchanging your bodysuit, but while we're here, our lesson is to improve and to overcome all of these little issues, major issues, big issues, fear issues, pain issues, by seeing them as a lesson that teaches us how to see them as impermanent, and that they really are here to give our souls a strengthening opportunity to become more tuned in to the divinity of ourself, where we can say, thank you for the lesson. I see what this is, but I'm not going to assign my personal energy signature by buying in and giving my energy signature the currency of belief. Because as soon as I do, I've contributed to the effluvia. I've contributed to the negative. And the higher you go, the higher you resonate, the more that energy is gobbled up by the fearmongers and the fearers, and the negative entities feed on fear. So we're just giving them the food that they need. We draw away from it by saying, I can live in another energy. I can see what's going on. I'm not going to put my head in the sand like an ostrich, but I will say, I don't need to allow that particular experience, whatever it is, dilute or bring density or doubt or darkness or heaviness to my day. Each moment, and now we're going to go back to the sacred moment, because this preciousness that we've all been given, this breath, and I say, maybe this is a good mantra to bring in right now. You breathe in love and you breathe out light. But you do that with intention, and you literally intend, and you see, I'm breathing in love and I'm breathing out light. Now reverse it. I'm breathing in light and I'm breathing out love. Immediately, just by saying that, immediately you feel that oneness begin to connect. And the more that we connect with oneness in the positive thoughts that we can carry and we can endorse with not only ourselves but more people around us, the more that collective oneness begins to resonate with that high frequency of let's elevate this planet together out of the density and the fear, because that's all it is. It's a temporal thing, because it will leave. It's ending. And when it does, what's coming? What we collectively will have an opportunity to build in this new world of opportunity. Each of us is an architect. And so it's an opportunity for us to see what we bring to the table as our own creative architect and what we want for the planet. And we can begin that process, to end this answer, by doing it with each one of these opportunities to transform a negative issue into a positive, by simply not giving it our signature energy and coming into something that we want to contribute to, which is, I'm in the moment and I'm here and I'm with you and I'm loving this. And because I feel that love and you feel that love resonates out from us. Concentric circles, it affects everyone ultimately.
Like stones in a pond, right?
Yes, so that's what we want to embrace. What do you think? How would you relate to that?
Well, that's why the question came up, right? That's something that I'd been thinking about. It's like, how can we contribute? And you've said that, but your muse said that beautifully, and it's exactly what we need to do. I also think that part of what's happening is this. There's some intention to what's going on behind the scenes, you know, with this fear and the World War III and all this business that's happening, which to me rings with a false message to me. It doesn't sound true to me. It sounds to me like it's the dying breath of the last gurgle of something that is going away and dying, and the things that have been going on, mostly underground. Nobody knew what was happening, but I think the awakening of everybody with things that are happening and what's being exposed, and all of this is coming to the surface. See, it can't go away until it comes to the surface, right?
Good point.
It's got to come up to move out. And so it's being dragged up, kicking and screaming with its, dying death gurgle. And therefore we have the ability now to move it out intentionally with our own intention. And the more of us that understand that and can contribute to that, the faster we can get it out of here. And then you're right, we can build a new, beautiful earth, a beautiful life where we don't have to live in fear and with lack, because I think the fear of lack is a big driver for a lot of people. Something I think it's ingrained early on in them, but we don't have to live that way.
That's a good point. And lack not only permeates from the lack of belief that we can, in fact, change what is. We all are imbued with the ability as being divine beings. The spark of God is in all of us. We're only beginning now to remember and to get back to that source and uncovering it, unwinding it, insourcing, not outsourcing. The sources of those that have been in charge of planetary control, manipulation, government, however you want to call it, all of that's gurgling. And what we're hearing is, I believe, and I think you said it graphically, the kind of like the death knell of an old world that's been here for literally thousands of years. And they've enjoyed the control, the manipulation, the empowerment, and keeping people enslaved into a diminished, and I think it's by control and by design, that we have been in this limited, very narrow, very myopic vision of our infinite potential. So by remembering the divinity, everybody that's on their path, little by little, step by step, case by case, challenge by challenge, as they grow and evolve and learn to let go and forgive themselves, primarily. I mean, forgiving others is one thing, and yes, we need to do that, but most people don't know how to forgive themselves.
That's
For
true.
one, coming from a higher place and descending into this reality, because we came here to be at this sacred time of this ascension to help all of our brothers and sisters on the planet as light workers, those who are on the spiritual path know that. For those that aren't here, that want to be here and want to be here in a happier, less prison, less encaged experience. Most people are so much on the treadmill, they eat, they sleep, they work, they eat, and it's a repeat cycle. And that repeat cycle doesn't allow them to make, let's say, deeper inquiries into what we've been talking about here in terms of getting to know that higher divine source within them that doesn't have to be ill, that doesn't have to be living in an environment of lack in any level, whether it be material, emotional, spiritual, relationship. That abundance is here for everybody. The old world wasn't about abundance. It was abundance for the less than 1%, the few. And people just became, as we came here and got into this routine, the Groundhog Day of the old world thinking, we lost contact with our ability to see us as a much grander spirit that has abilities that we're only now beginning to uncover. But it's remembering. It's remembering that we don't have to be ill. We can heal ourselves. We don't have to be poor. We can have abundance. We don't have to be in relationships that are not healthy. We can be in loving, healthy relationships. The more we pay attention, the more we forgive ourselves for all of that which has not worked. And by the way, it's over. What hasn't worked is over in our individual lives and in the world. So we're here standing at a precipice of time, I believe. probably one of the most unique and preciousness of times ever, where we can now really live fully in our awakening, in our divinity, and have access to multiple tools that not only empower us, but allow us to be a higher octave, a signature of ascension in this present moment. And if it doesn't start now, it's not going to happen anywhere else.
Yeah.
And the more we live in the past, the more we live in fear. Anytime we deviate, anytime we leave this moment to go think about, even in the questions, about fear and how it began, we transport ourselves back to dialogue about that which has already happened. And right now in the moment, if we can pay attention, all of us pay attention to, and it was asked of me of a friend today, because a lot of people right now are struggling on so many different levels just to stay centered because it's so much catastrophic energy. And I'm reminded, even myself personally on a daily level, how do you stay out of that earthquake energy? By taking that breathe in love and breathe out light. Go talk to a tree. Go sit on Mother Gaia. Lie on the earth. Let the earth, which has been here forever, heal and soothe you and connect you to all living things that don't have any fear about what's happening next.
Yeah.
Let's learn from those teachers, nature, that has a harmonic balance at any time that we can go visit, leave our stress-filled, anxiety, depressed worlds, and go and get into the now and be part of that experience and make that virtual your reality. Now that now adds value and a presence and substantiveness that gives you a breath that's far more easy to breathe than one that's chock full of fear and negativity.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I totally agree. It's I don't know, for whatever reason, when you were talking, something just came into my mind about the original sin, and I don't, you know how these things work. They just float in, right? And it made me start to ponder: was that the catalyst that started this whole thing churning? You know what I mean? The keeping people down and blame, and it's women's fault and this and that, and they ate which all seems like kind of malarkey to me, but I don't know why that came in. I don't know. Can your muse help me understand where that came in?
I understand the religiosity of where the whole sin thing came from, but we're pure divine beings in this echo of 3D dimensionality, which is a lower energy frequency. Anything that is coming from the divine and locking ourselves into a very dense energy, those kinds of thoughts about we're not good enough, we're bad, everything about us should be questioned, we sin, all of those things accumulate more of the fear, the doubt, the self-rejection, and gives all kinds of wonderful tools for people to be what? Trapped.
Yeah.
Trapped
that's what I mean, the catalyst.
Yeah, it's a catalyst. But it was, again, that's another old world technology that kept people in prison for a long time. I think if you want to look at sin, it was an archer's term, off the mark. I think anything that's off the mark is not being in the present moment. And as long as we are coming from the tide moving in and moving out between each other and keeping that octave centered in a heart-centered, how can I love you more? How can I love myself more? How can I give more love to others? How can I give more love to the planet? Those words constitute a blueprint, a diagram, an architectural framework that allow us to build more on that foundation, feeding that, breathing into that, living and loving into that equation, which is about how do we improve everything about all things in every moment. Staying in the present, staying now, and enjoying and be in joy disassociates and disconnects us from all of those things that wrangle to divide, conquer, grab our attention, pull us down rabbit holes. Every day we experience it, right? Things come into our experience and go, where did that come from? Out in left field. But it's just another opportunity to what? I say, to stay in the moment and stay present. And what are we really all about in training for? What is all the now moment stuff, sacred, precious moment in training for? To be able to utilize more of our divine potentiality. I was talking with somebody the other day, and they brought up what Jesus had said, that all these things I have done, paraphrasing it, you can do and more. When I first heard that as a kid, I went, oh man, that is cool.
Yeah.
I don't take that figuratively. I'm going to take that literally. So Jesus said that. We're all gods. Be as gods. Be all these things I can do. So heal the sick, raise the dead, walk on water, bilocate, all the wonderful things and more we can do. But we don't think about that. We just think that Jesus can do that. So I was telling this gal the other day, this was many years ago. I was meditating, and I've always been very close to Jesus. I feel like we're good friends, good buddies, and that heart connection and that soul connection's always been there. So he appeared in my meditation, and he said, I have something for you that I want to share with you. I think I might have said it before here. He said, my name, Jesus, the one you're dealing with in this world. Yahshua was his real name, but Jesus, he said, listen to it again. The word means G, it's us.
Yes,
so
very clever.
Within that name, it's again providing us with the permission to see multidimensionally and other aggregates of our potentiality to create more wonder, more magic, more love, more light, more music, more art, more anything that's creative. That's the kind of now I'm going to invite everybody to participate in. Find something each day. Find one person that you can serve. A relative, a friend, somebody you don't know, a call. Call them up and make their day. Tell them something beautiful. Tell them something loving. Tell them something positive. You'll always have that coming your way if you're going to be doing that for other people. But that's how to stay present, I think, in the now.
I think that's perfectly said and beautiful. I know that being kind and being in service is what is driving me. I love to see the results of being kind to somebody. Just even, like I've probably said this before, but just even a simple compliment or a tap or just giving some instruction that they needed to hear, or or just making somebody smile when they're feeling blue. It's just a very uplifting in your vibration and your spirit where you want to be. You want to stay up there, because the minute you go down here, you're inviting all that, these little critters here to come in and start chewing you up. So, yeah, keep it high. Keep it high.
Love what you just said. And that's a tool. I always look for how-to tools to make it more simple. And so when we are in those spaces, all of us, when anyone is in that space of doubt, fear, self-reflection that's not, let's say, positive, anything that creates a shadow, a darkness, how do we know and we can pay attention? Just check out where your energy feels. Is it denser? Is it medium? Is it higher? Where is our energy field today? As much as we can go low, we can go high. We can change it in a second, in a moment, by doing the kinds of kind things that you said. Smile at someone on the street. Smile with your heart, and with intention. You send that person you're smiling to the warmth of what you feel about your preciousness and the gift of life that you have, simply because you're here again today. Everybody needs help. Most people in this life that I find could always use a little touch on the shoulder or a little kind, whatever it is.
Attaboy. Way to go. You
anything.
did a good job,
Just keep it that way.
Yeah. Even you telling me you like my haircut, made me feel good.
Yeah. Well, and it's noticing, and it's paying attention, and it's reading between the lines. And, it was Gibran who said, before you see yourself as a giver, before you feel that you need to be given to, see yourself as a giver. You know, it's better to give unasked than it is to give asked.
Right.
You know, and most of us are in that position of, if they ask, I'll give something. Well, how about tuning in to that individual's needs, whoever they are, whoever you're led to on that level spiritually, and we all are, by the way, to touch another person in a better way each day. However we're led to do that, trust that, and we'll be led to whatever that is we need to do. Pay it forward. I mean, if you're I saw somebody do it, and I thought it was so beautiful at a co-op, a grocery store, and somebody in front of them was not quite there with all the money. And the gentleman said, I'll take care of it. Without a hesitation, just I'll take care of it, and paid the rest of the bill, $3, $4, whatever it was. I watched her eyes, and I saw her light up like a Christmas tree. There was so much love and joy and appreciation in that single act of tenderness. You think he got blessings from that karmically? Yeah, because it wasn't given with any need to get anything back. It was totally given. And I'm sure most of you people have done things like that or thought about it. I think this is encouraging to think about how we can do more of that.
Yeah.
You know, make it a point in the currency of whatever day you're involved in, especially if you're waking up in the day and your day isn't quite as bright as it normally is. Find a way to give some uplift to other people, and you'll quickly uplift your own frequency.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Well, a lot of times, like I'll sing, you know, or I love my animals, so I give them some love, and that makes me feel good. You know, just things that it's so simple to do sometimes, but we forget. And I think the message is, don't forget about yourself. Make yourself happy too. Do the things for yourself so that you can radiate that out and pay it forward as well. So, because it all comes up, right? I mean, our energy comes up and goes out. And that's, you got to get it up here first before you can get it out.
You do. And I think what you brought up is absolutely perfectly true, that, and I'm hearing a word that's becoming more familiar, self-care.
Exactly.
So it's kind of a generic word, but really what does it say? It's what you're saying. Before we can really give to anyone else, you got to give to yourself. And we're not talking about a selfish kind of giving. We're talking about giving love and kindness and respect and honor to this dignified spiritual being that's living in this body vessel that contains it. And it needs to be loved and cared for and respected. And when we know that it's not, and when we're not quite right and we're out of harmony and out of balance, we know that's the time to take a break, go out and hug a tree, touch a tree, talk to nature, take a dip in the ocean, go walk in the lake, be with nature, and immediately there's no better place to go to surrender and to literally be almost instantaneously transformed back into a harmonic place.
Yeah.
So it doesn't take much, but we don't give ourselves permission. I hear people saying all the time, I don't have the time. I don't have the time to do that. Well, to reinvent that, maybe to revisit that, is we always have the time. We have the time to do the things that we want to do, but if we know that self-care is part of the integer, because we can't help anybody else until we love ourselves, how can you love another person when you can't love yourself? You can't, because then you don't know what love is. Then it's all the differentiation of what love appears to be, and that's been misleading for a long time, culturally, through media, through TV. It's what, is that love? Is all of those things that they've pictured for as love? Love is the kind of things we're talking about. Caring about yourself and caring about other people. That's what we're here for. To love ourselves, to love others, and to grow and to connect more with our Father, Mother, Creator, Source, God.
Well, I tell you, if you want to love yourself more, turn off the TV.
Love it. Perfect.
Because there's nothing there to make you actually feel good about yourself. It's all designed to make you wish you were these other people living in these perfect lives, right? So that's,
And somebody said recently, and that's why they call it programming.
It's true.
TV programming. And what are they programming you with? Subliminal what? Certainly not to be a happy, loving, healthy, God-connected person.
No.
So
It's the opposite.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think this has been a wonderful chat, and I'm so glad you were here. We're all out of time again.
Oh no.
It doesn't seem like it, just goes by so fast when we're talking because the energy's so great.
Oh,
So great.
Thank you.
So
for
I want to
being
thank
who
you for being here, and I want to sign us out here with a thank you again for David Bear and your love. So thank you, and thanks for keeping it real, folks. Yeah, thanks for keeping it real, and we'll see you next time on Real People. Bye now.